So I don't know. I had 6 messages.
So, oh good, that keeps it beside. So I had Save and Bratham, and I had Karan and Lisa. I really, to be honest with you, I don't have much to say with these guys. They did a good job. They were really focused on finding the area all along. They spent a lot of time with that. They were showing us, they showed me the area. I really don't have much to say, but they labeled everything nicely. They did say that the 5x5 was the best because it was the most, or the biggest area, or the most space to play in. This one's a little more interesting though. The very first perimeter that they did was wrong. Of course, I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth closed. And yeah, I wanted to. Believe me, I was like, but didn't say anything. But what happened afterwards was Lisa said to Grant, I think it's too big. She just visualized it. And she recounted it, and good for her. She caught it that it was wrong. So what they ended up doing, which I thought was great, to make sure that they didn't make that mistake again. All the other 4 are correct. And you see how well they labeled it? They labeled every single meter going all around, as you can see, in the green, and green, and green, and in the black, to make sure that they didn't make the same mistake twice. They also did area as well. Now, they only did the area when it came to answering the question about choosing the design that would be the best choice, whereas these guys were doing area all along, and then they got to the last answer. But what I find interesting about Lisa's response, I got to read this to you. I think that none of the rectangles are bigger because the perimeter is 20. Even though she can visually see that some are bigger, she focused on that the perimeter was 20, so none of them are bigger, but then she contradicted herself. I think that option C is the biggest because it has the greatest area. She really contradicted herself there. Same perimeter, all the rectangles are the same size, but hold on a second. This rectangle is bigger because it has a different area. So she contradicted herself, but they did a pretty good job. I was happy.
Great lead into tomorrow when you look at that is the area is the number of squares within your shape.
Correct. One last thing I need to add though. Sorry. When they did this rectangle first, they did a 2x8. At least it was, well, we did a 2x8. And all I had to do to the width is make it a 3 and take 1 away from the length and make it a 7. So I actually heard her say that. So then when she finished that, she goes, okay, the next one has to be a 4 meter and take away 1 from the length. Wow. She was pretty good at that. Okay.
That is really nicely labeled.
Yeah.
Probably one that we may use.
A lot of things, good things.
Can I add to this group? I didn't get to spend a lot of time with them because I was co-teaching and correcting some misconceptions. But these kids really had it going on. Like they kind of got right into it. They worked collaboratively, cooperatively, and they really understood what they were doing. And I actually had this group come over and have these kids explain to this group what they were doing, and that was a strategy that we talked about because it was, it was powerful coming from them rather than just the teacher and the, explaining it. But when I got to this group and they had done 4 of them and they were writing up their explanation, I said, oh, are you sure? Is there any other choices? And they said to me, because, part of what we do here is that the conversation doesn't always make it on the paper. They said to me, well, there's one more shape, but it would be 5 on each side, but that's a square, so we didn't think we could do it. And I'm like, well, but then Anushri said, well, but wait a minute, a square is a special type of rectangle, so maybe we could actually do it. So I drew it for them, and we labeled it, and we wrote down that it was a special type of rectangle, and Om looked really annoyed at this point, and then they decided that after all this beautiful handwriting that they decided that they could actually, this one had the biggest area, and it was bigger than this one, which is what they were picking, and they decided that they would change their answer to this, but they had discounted it because they really didn't think that they could use that special rectangle. So it was an interesting conversation, and it kind of made me think of what you were just sharing about, how they were, moving into the area. They connected to the area right away. So I just wanted to share that one.